Hi everyone, Chris Jeub here with Training Minds Ministry. We're mandated to train minds for action, and I am here with Taryn DiMartile. Taryn is Public Relations Social Media Manager at College Plus, one of the most popular higher education solutions for ages 14 and up. She blogs at TarynDiMartile.com to encourage others to fulfill their purpose. How are you doing, Taryn?
I'm doing pretty well. End of the day here on Monday, and so I'm gonna sitting here chatting with you, and then gonna head home and got some swing dancing plans with friends tonight. So
Swing dancing, all
yeah,
right.
yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it'll be fun.
Taryn, we've known each other for almost a year, but I've known College Plus for several years. Can you tell us a bit more about the organization and how you work at it?
Yeah, well, here at College Plus, we help students with life prep, offering them what they need for a well lived life, not just a college degree. And so we do this through life purpose discovery, both when students start with College Plus and just woven throughout their entire degree earning process. Life skills, so leadership, worldview, developing marketable skills, etc., and then life launch, so encouraging students to be pursuing internships, starting their own business, all those kinds of things. So I've had various roles here at College Plus over the years. First as a student back in 2009 and 2010. Then I worked as a coach remotely for 2 years. And then about 18 months ago, I moved to San Antonio from Southern California and have kind of become the voice of College Plus as the public relations social media manager. So I do a lot of different things, but mostly I do all the writing for the marketing department and do a lot of student community things too. Basically, if it gets written at College Plus, either I wrote it or I approved it.
You know, I've always thought of College Plus, this was probably a prejudice of mine, or maybe an impression that's out there, is that College Plus is an alternative to higher education. But the more I understand College Plus, the more I see that that isn't quite the case, is it?
Yeah, that was it's not unfounded. Your kind of conception of that. That's kind of how it was back in 2006 when we started. But over the past years, the focus has started changing. So we want to offer more to students than just an alternative to higher education. We want to offer them something that's going to be life changing. We don't want our students to just graduate with their bachelor's degree and then go on their merry way to join the 44% of unemployed or underemployed college grads that are out there. We want our students to graduate with a solid life purpose, direction for their lives, marketable skills, leadership skills that they can use, whether they're a CEO or a pastor or a stay-at-home mom or a plumber. Just wherever God's leading them, and then the ability to define and defend their worldview, in addition to having that bachelor's degree.
Well, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
And I'm glad you're on board with the Four Action Conference. And
totally.
let me plug it a bit. The Four Action
Yeah.
Conference is a 3-day conference that focuses on the family in Colorado Springs, January 2nd through the 4th. Taryn brings to the table her expertise of doing college the right way, not, as you say, one size fits all, but ideas for avoiding common pitfalls and setting up goals that will help launch young people into the future of higher education. Um, and Taryn, there's a broad mix of people who are speaking at the Four Action
Yeah.
Conference, and it's exciting. I have my MBA, and there's
Mhm.
educated folks. There's Isaiah McPeak. He's a graduate of Patrick Henry College, and then there's people like Travis, and Andrew Pudoa has a testimony he's going to be sharing how he dropped out of college. So did
Mhm.
Travis, and there's James O'Keefe. He's our keynote speaker. He quit law school.
Right.
So it's kind of a strange mix. And I tend to think it's representative of how higher education has changed today. How has
Mhm.
post secondary education changed, or how is it different today than it was in years past?
Yeah, well, that's definitely a bit of a loaded question, but in the past you went to college to learn things and ideas, but now we have the internet. We have access to more information about things and ideas than we could possibly want or need. Consequently, in a perfect world, post-secondary education should be shifting more towards being focused on outcomes. Does this person know how to find the information they need and provide valuable in a meaningful way to an employer? And can this person be functional just in a job? It's much more important now than ever to set yourself apart by being able to do something or build something instead of just showing your liberal arts degree, because those are a dime a dozen. I'm not bagging on liberal arts degrees because, of course, that's the one that I have. So, we just go with it. But however, that's in a perfect world, and we certainly don't live in a perfect world. Many institutions are behind the times when it comes to the future of education and are still focusing mostly on teaching theories and not practices. And now we have a whole generation of college grads who are leaving the education system with mountains of debt and feeling cheated because they did everything they were told to do and they still don't have the outcome that they were looking for and even promised, basically a job. And workplaces are also behind the times because many of them won't look at a candidate without that oh so important piece of paper that, proves they can learn. Unfortunately, it's a broken system all the way around that's going to take a lot of time and money to fix.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what we're doing here at College Plus. We're offering an affordable option for students to earn that credentialing degree so they can get that interview, but we're also helping them get equipped with the tools they'll need to secure and be successful in that job. We're kind of just doing what we can to make the most of a broken system while we're pioneering the new ideas and, just really trying to just kind of see the future of education and, do what we can to be a part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here coming to the 4Action Conference.
I'm excited too.
You have a full-time job. You've explained what College Plus is, but you also have a blog, and you're doing you're building your own platform. In fact, the viewers should know that we met at Michael Hyatt's platform conference back in February. We both were there, and we were both excited about building our own platforms and helping our employers, or for me, my ministry, to build their platform. And it's an interesting concept. I have the book right here. You remember this one?
Oh, yeah.
Platform.
Oh, yes.
Get noticed in a noisy world. And Michael Hyatt's a friend of Training Minds, and he was our keynote speaker at a camp last summer, and they're a big supporter of what we're doing with the 4Action Conference. But how about you explain the platform that you're doing at TarynDiMartile.com?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my poor blog is not currently getting the attention it needs or deserves right now. So I've mostly been using what I learned at the platform conference more for business than personal. One of these days, but traveling, moving, going on adventures, just living life, unfortunately, has been the name of the game this year. So, all in due season, I suppose. But anyway, while I'm passionate about everyone living out their life purpose and living full out for God wherever He has them, I really am particularly passionate about teen girls and ministering to them. I feel like across the board, we really have this, but mostly girls. I think we all have this American dream ideal. You graduate high school, you go off to college, you graduate college, and in the same month you marry your high school or college sweetheart. You get the house with the white picket fence, have two kids, and we all live happily ever after. The end. But the fact of the matter is, we serve a much more creative God than that, who has a unique plan for each of our lives.
Amen.
And I'm not bashing that plan. If that's what God has for you, that's what He had for my best friend. It was fantastic. That's not what He had for me. So I'm just really living proof of that. I was one of those girls who, that's what I thought my whole life. This is what was going to happen. And, here I am 4 years out of college and I'm still not, a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. That just isn't what God has for me right now. But He's shown me that He has something very different for me, and it is very exciting. It's not better on a hierarchy of life callings. It drives me nuts when people pretend that there is one of those, because there's not. But that's a whole nother tirade for a whole nother day. But it's different because it wasn't something that I was expecting, but I wouldn't want it any other way. And it has really changed me into the person that I am today. And I'm still learning and growing, but I'm loving where God has me right now. So my blog and platform is really about encouraging people who are or were in the same place I am, just really giving them that encouragement they need when they look around and feel like they're the odd man out. Helping them remember that God doesn't use a cookie cutter, and He's got exciting things planned for their life as long as they seek Him and His path for them. So thankfully, even though my blog is suffering right now, I still do get to do that every day at work. So it's not the end of the world, but I really need to get that blog going.
Yeah. That's great, Taryn. That's great. And you're going to be there all 3 days, along with the other speakers. That's a unique aspect of the 4Action Conference, is that all the speakers are there They're learning along with the other. You'll have your hour of teaching about college, not necessarily college plus, but about college development
Hmm.
and what people should do for
Yeah.
their considerations in higher education beyond high school.
Hmm.
And I'm excited for it. You know what? Give us a little hint of what you're going to be talking about at the Four Action Conference.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm very against this whole cookie cutter life thing, which is really a huge part of the traditional education system. That being said, I'm also far from a you're ruining your life if you go to a traditional university person. If you're sure that's the direction God's calling you in, then go for it. That may sound like a cop out on my end, but that's truly what I believe. What was right for me when it came to higher education may not be what's right for you. You may even be like Travis or Andrew and may not need to go to college to live out what God's calling you to do with your life. And far be it from me to tell you to go spend $100,000 to do it when you don't need it. So, in my talk, I'm really going to be giving some insight to help people weigh the different options that are out there and give them the information they need to make an informed decision. I gave a much less robust talk about a month ago, and I had one girl come up to me and tell me she had been to every college seminar and fair and anything else related to college that her school offered or that she could get her hands on. And she said she learned more in my 45-minute speech than she had at all of those other ones combined. And that really struck a chord with me because college and the college decision is huge. It's a
Mhm.
huge part of your life. And there's such a cloud of mystery surrounding it. And so I really want to help remove some of that mystery and some of the feeling of, making this blind decision while also inspiring the conference attendees to use their unique gifts and go out and, just really make a difference in the world.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
For those of you tuning into this interview, take the time to visit trainingminds.org/action and seriously consider making the trip out to Colorado Springs January 2nd through the 4th, 2014. It is capped at only 90 people, giving you personal access to speakers like Taryn throughout the weekend. All conference materials, meals, and sessions come with your 3-day ticket for only $179. We're filling up, so please make your plans today. Well, thanks for giving me your time, Taryn. This was fun.
Yeah.
Very good
Thanks for
interview.
inviting me.
You bet, you bet. And we look forward to seeing you at the 4 Action Conference, Taryn.
I look forward to seeing you and everyone else too.